Gamers, gals, non-binary pals. If there's one thing this channel is built upon, it's React content, baby. Anyways, we've got MBT. Why do these terrible Yu-Gi-Oh cards keep winning games? And the answer 90% of the time is time rules.
Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka... And it's time for another Twitter thread. Alright, today we're talking about time cards. So, when the new time rules were implemented, they were controversial, to say the least. Instead of doing turns, now, when a match ends, duelists proceed to the end of the current phase, and then check the life point totals of both players. If one player's up in life points, then they are the winner. This has caused a significant amount of individuals to play something in the sideboard called time cards. Many archetypes have these internally. They're being designed with them in mind from the last couple of sets onwards, but a lot of archetypes need a way to get ahead of their opponents in a main phase in which they go to time. So today I'm asking you, what are the worst time cards you've ever seen played? And we're beginning with one of my favorites. I play a little bit of Abyss Actor casually. I like the deck a ton, but it just doesn't have what it takes to keep up with the modern metagame. It's one of those pendulum decks, though, that does a mainline combo and has enough space to play non-engine, which is why I enjoy it. But one card that it can play is Abyss Script Opening Ceremony.
Wow.
Usually this is just a card you're sending in order to put an Abyss Actor from your extra deck back into your hand via the effect of Curtain Raiser, but you can also use it to gain 500 life points for each Abyss Actor monster you control. That's right, it's got a life gain effect and nothing else.
I remember when I was first getting into Yu-Gi-Oh! And like the new time rules just dropped. I was playing True Draco at the time, and the one time card I decided to play was fucking Odd Eyes Advanced Dragon.
And 15th card, we ran Odd Eyes Advanced Dragon. The best card of the day.
Because you could just fucking pop an opponent's card and burn them.
I activated this in a local once, and my opponent then got to their main phase before time was called and tried to Scarlight me out of the game, but I was just a little too ahead. I had gained too much life points off Opening Ceremony. All right, let's see what you all came up with. I was at a locals and someone was telling me this is a good tech for tier.
Oh my god, it's Maple.
Is this real? Okay, Maple, so this is kind of a hard thing to say. When time cards first started being something that people were playing, the first thing people did was sort of search every single card that gains you life points. It does gain you 1,000 when it's sent to the graveyard. Additionally, it's not once per turn, which means you can shuffle it back with like a Mudora or a Keldo and then mill it again. But
just as
you
God
do
intended.
have to mill it. And for that reason, it's really not good. Rather than rely on randomly milling a Skullmark Ladybug, which a lot of people were doing during this period, decks evolved to just use Beatrice to send a Volcanic Scattershot or Sprint to do so. Cowboy is...
My friend Jesse at YCS, like Pasadena or LA, he was against Darren Stephenson at like round 8 or 9 at like the top tables. It got to time and Jesse was up like, you know, 1,500 life points because like he red resonated. And he's like, I'm chilling. And then Darren Stephenson like milled 11 and hit 2 skull-marked ladybugs. So he gained more life. So that should just tell you everything you need to know about Yu-Gi-Oh! What a dog shit fucking game.
strange because I think it's just like flat out the best time card. Almost every deck can make a rank 4. I mean, I've seen everyone from Rescue Ace to, of course, Pendulum citing this bad boy. Fire...
Say it.
Can I...
Say it, white boy.
Am I allowed to say the name of this card? This card was playable as the time card in Math Mech. This was during a format that included Sprite, which had a time card in Red Resonator, and Tearlament, which had multiple time cards. The third best deck, Math Mech, desperately needed a way to close out games in which it could only get to the main phase. Fire, C-word, can, during either player's turn, be discarded to inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. Why did it play this card? Well, Alambertian actually has a bunch of effects, and if you detach 3 materials, something you can do off of a single circular, you can add a level 4 monster from your deck.
Awesome.
Any deck that can theoretically make a Link 4 has access to a time card in Agave Dragon. So there's a Link 4 monster. If it's Link summoned, you can apply these effects in sequence depending on the type of monsters in the graveyard.
Yeah.
And it begins by saying you can inflict 100 damage to your opponent for each dragon. Finally, you gain 400 life points for each worm. So all you have to do is pivot through one of those types on your way to Agave Dragon, and you can burn or gain just a teensy-weensy little bit of life points. That said, I don't think I've ever seen this played as a serious time card past, I guess, the weekend of its original print. Dragon Link has better things to do in Scarlight, and everyone else extra deck space is too tight, and they have better, more easily accessible time cards. Imagine if Gage could lose to time. So, fun fact, at some Edison events that have been hosted by Konami, rather than do the then 0, 1, 2, 3 time rules, they have used existing Konami time guidelines, which means that Caius is not only one of the strongest cards in the format, he might also be a time card. I would run
Just
Air
as God
Hummingbird and
intended.
Flu because it was searchable off Robina. Oh, man.
Oh my god,
Some-
it's a winged beast. Oh god, dude. Whatever it takes, man. Oh my god. Flu already has a time card. They have Advent of Adventure. We don't need another one.
One day they're going to make a Neo-Spacian
It needs
fusion monster
more.
for this card, but not today. Dyer says, back when I was looking for a time card and generator, I tried citing 3 of this. Unsearchable 3 of, so I could go into C9. Needless to say, it never came up once. Rank up magic, quick chaos. Target a number Xyz you
Quick
control.
chaos,
You
my
are going
God.
to tag from a Dyson sphere into a chaos Dyson sphere. No. We ain't FTKing, we're just doing 600. Yeah, I think chat's absolutely correct. You could literally just play Sparks. If you're citing in an unsearchable 3 of spell exclusively to win in time and for no other reason, just play like emergency provisions or something. This
Yummy.
is one that I recognize, shockingly. Before we ran out of extra deck space with the release of Photon Hypernova and Cyberstorm Access, Branded would send a light Performapal from deck to graveyard with Branded Fusion to make Albion, then banish it and the Performapal to make Performapal Gatling Ghoul, which can inflict 200 damage to your
Awesome.
opponent for each card on the field. Awful. Really, really miserably.
Awesome.
Yeah, Gustav Max also has the added benefit of being larger than any other time card. Sometimes you'll get into a position where you get to your main phase, execute a combo that burns your opponent for a little, but there's still a couple of minutes on the clock, so you do pass back to your opponent and they get through some part of their setup combo in their main phase. And if that happens, you have to ensure that your time card hits harder than their time card. This guy hits like harder than anything. Am I
It hits
crazy?
like a
I feel
train,
like the
one might
censored
say.
version is a little more sexy, right? There's some coming out of it. Why is he sounding on the uncensored version of this?
Don't Google
Started out
sounding.
as joke at a small regional, but now I actually do side this as a thrust target. It's just the funniest thing to win off it. You can go further. Like, if you're going to thrust for a burn card, it's got to be Sparks, right? I think, isn't there a 100 damage card, too?
No, you don't thrust for Uzaki. You thrust for Secret Barrel because you could set it. Because if your opponent doesn't have a monster, then you're fucked.
Burn card, it's got to be Sparks, right? I think, isn't there a 100 damage card, too? Muyon Curry. Well, that's
Yum.
a life gain. Well, Yugi boy, it looks as if your attack had connected. I'd be done for. But it didn't. The classic. After tier bans, a few of my locals kept the dream alive by playing various engines with the tier Shizu stuff like Shadow. I was at a case tournament that went
Bad
at the time
card.
we were told to finish
Bad
the phase.
card
The
for
man
bad
Foolish
people.
Burial Scattershot causing me to lose. It is funny that, like, tier-related decks have, like, 55 different ways to send Scattershot to the graveyard, but one of them is Foolish Burial. So sometimes you just go, Foolish Send Scattershot? Pass. I played Lab at Euros this year, and I was theorying it with a
Oh
friend
my
who's far more
God.
experienced than I was. I've never been more disappointed when he handed me a copy of this and told me we had to play it. Altar for Tribute. Isn't there a better version of this card? Isn't Destruct Potion the exact same card as this? This is the exact same card. Altar plays around removal. Well, you're just flipping it before they've committed to anything. It doesn't play...
Why wouldn't you just play like Secret Barrel? Because at least you could like Lady Lab chain to it. And I don't know, grab like a big welcome or some shit. Why not just play that? I don't know, man. Labyrinth players are fucking psychotic, me included.
Play around Shifter, right? Or does it send for cost? It plays around Happy Memory. That's actually it. I hate Yu-Gi-Oh, man. I hate this card game. It's awful that for a while Aqua Dolphin was your time win con Goki. Played against a lot of Goki players that would be like, oh yeah, and take about 15 minutes to do their combo game 1. We'd negotiate a long-ass game 2. Game 3, all of a sudden, they were the fucking Wizard of Oz when it came to Link summoning. You learned so much between games 1 and 3. Shockingly, there is a double evolution pill target that does burn damage we used to play. Skyhawk, I am intimately familiar with Superconductor Tyranno because 21's not worth living in. Destiny Hero Dystopia. I fond memories of this card. It does have a burn effect. It targets a level 4 or lower Destiny Hero in your grave and burns equal to, I think, the attack of the card. I remember a local where we were going into game 3. and I had just made it to main phase when time was called. And I start doing my combo, and my opponent is just yes-anding everything I do. They're like, yeah, 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 yeah. I guess waiting for us to, like, get to the tie situation. And I'm like, dystopia effect, yeah, and then I do a million more actions just to, like, play around whatever I think my opponent might have. And then I go, all right, well, end of main. And then he shouts to the TO, he goes, hey, we tied. And I go, whoa, 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 whoa. We very much did not tie. He was like, what? And I was like, yeah, dystopia burned. I wrote it on the life point pad. What did you think I was doing? Doodling? To Runic Sprite for Hire, a deck with 3 time cards in the same deck. 1 for each engine. Criminal shit. When the time rules were first revealed, people were really upset by them. But it's cool to see how people have adapted to their permanent inclusion by playing cards like this. Now, all I humbly request is a playable time card for Rescue Ace. Please, this deck takes so long to win!
They already have a playable one. It's called Summon Jet Synchron and make fucking Scarlight. No way God intended. If there's one thing I could say about time cards is that, God, I fucking hate being forced to play 1 to 3 cards on my side deck just in case I randomly go into time with a Labyrinth. Let me know your favorite time card in the comment section down below, and goodbye forever.